This is part 2 of our episode, When Should I Sell My Stock? So stay tuned for the full episode. We have some good information to share. One of our viewers left this comment. They wanted to know when they should sell their stocks. So in part 1, we discussed when to buy, when to sell, what stocks to use. Our viewer, Elizabeth, that left this question did not have any previously owned stocks. I asked her what stocks she was looking forward to selling, and she said she was just trying to learn. So we discussed in the first episode the buy and hold strategy, the advantages and disadvantages. We talked about using the S&P 500 ETF as a good ETF or stock to use, and then we also talked about using the 250-day moving average. I also asked some of our viewers to leave some comments on what they thought the best strategy was, and we'll go over some of those comments here today in this video. Let's first review the buy and hold strategy. Basically, in the buy and hold strategy, going to leave your money in whether the market goes up or whether it goes down as long as possible until you need it. Buy and hold strategy can be an excellent way to invest. Now, some of the difficulties with buy and hold, when the market starts to sell off, there's a lot of pressure to try to hold the stocks. Therefore, you end up selling at the lows in many cases. Usually about the time you sell, the market pops up to the high side. We're going back in time here. This is the 2000 to 2012 time period with the S&P 500. You can see the market sold off quite a bit starting around 2001 and all the way down to about 2003. We did mention using the 250-day moving average. That's the black line here. Under the 250, we would be out of the market. Above the 250-day moving average, we would be in the market. Now, the point I wanted to make here as far as buy and hold, in this case, the market went down for 2 years, and it took another 4 years for the market to get back up to its highs. That's a total of about 6 years to the downside. If a person was retiring right before this dipped and their money went down 50%, they had $100,000, now it's worth $50,000, that becomes pretty hard to stomach. They would have had to wait another 4 years for their money to come back to where it was. In the meantime, if they're spending their money in retirement while it's going down, they're using up their money quicker. So essentially, it would probably take more than 4 years to get that same amount of money back because you already spent quite a bit of it. In 2008, the market collapsed. You can see we had a lot of people selling out, and then it came back, and it took about, it bottomed in 2009. It took about 3 years for it to come back. That can be some of the challenges with buy and hold strategy. Here's one of our comments from Ray. He says, I agree that Elizabeth would be better off with a SPY ETF, but she needs to assess her tolerance for loss and set a stop on her trade to reflect that tolerance. Every investor is brave in a bullish stock, but during a sell-off, few investors can handle a major drop in the value of their investment. So Ray, one of the viewers, said to have a stop, and then also the SPY was probably the best ETF for her. Now, setting a stop here, there's various ways of doing that. Here, we're using the moving average line as our stop. Now, that would be more of a mental stop. You can set a stop on your trading platform so that, let's say the market moves below 20% down, then you would automatically be stopped out. So that's a good suggestion to get you out of the market no matter how your emotions are feeling about your particular trade. Typically what happens when the market's going down, you keep thinking it's going to come back, and it never does. So if you just go ahead and take your stop, hopefully it's a profit, and then you can buy at a new time. Now, Tony here said, when you buy a stock online by yourself, you can put on a stop price to where you want the stock to be sold. However, I wouldn't put on a stop right away until you have some kind of a profit locked in. And he was saying that for a long-term trader. So Tony was saying, when you decide to buy in and you're a long-term trader, have a stop price where you want to sell. Again, that could be a mental stop or it could be a physical stop. So let's just say back in April of 2020, you decided to buy right around the 200 70 level here on the S&P 500. Now he said set your stop after you have a profit. The reason he says that, because the market can fluctuate after you buy. And so it could even come below your buy price. So instead of getting stopped out, if you're a long-term trader, give yourself some room. Now you could set an automatic stop down here, say maybe 5%, and you would not take any loss below 5%. But Tony's saying wait until you get a profit and then set a stop down here. And what I would do along what Tony's saying, I would set my stop so it doesn't go below my buy price. Once I get a profit going, I would at least set my stop to where the buy price was so that I don't lose any money. Now, another type of a stop you can set is a trailing stop. Let's say as this market moves up, you can do this on your trading platform. Set a trading stop so that the stop is moving up as the price is moving up. It takes a little bit of the thinking and the emotion out of it by having a trailing stop. You don't have to try to decide if this is the good time to do it. Your stop will take you out automatically and preserve your profit. Here's an excellent comment from Stan. He says, I usually use a 200-day moving average for the S&P 500 to buy back after it's dipped, is what he's saying. The best time to buy back into the market after a sell-off, I look for the cross of the 50-day and 200-day moving average. This is called the golden cross and is usually a very good time to buy. On short-term trading, something I did when I was younger, if you make a quick 15% sell, is to take the profit at 15%. So he said no one ever went broke selling at a profit. A couple of things here that Stan was bringing out is, one, he likes to use the 200-day moving average. The black line is the 250-day moving average that we talked about. But Tony likes the 200-day moving average. Actually, the 200-day moving average is kind of an industry standard. Now, the 250-day pretty much keeps you in the market all the time, but the 200-day is excellent also. Then on the other side, Stan says he likes to buy when the 50-day moving average, this blue line, crosses back above the green line, which is the 200-day moving average, which he calls that the golden cross. And so that's a good momentum indicator that's saying that the market is strong and it's a good time to buy into the market. And the third thing that Stan was saying was taking a profit. Let's say Stan bought back here at the 270 and he says, I'm going to take a 15% profit. So as soon as that hits a 15% profit, he takes his profit and then he's out of the market. He's got his gain. This would be more of a short-term trading strategy. I don't know if you're like me, but I've been up on a certain stock 15% and then it's dipped back down and I saw my profit totally disappear in front of my eyes. So in this case, you're taking your profit in advance and it's more of a short-term trading strategy. Now let's take a look at some current conditions here on the S&P 500. We have our green 200-day moving average and then the thin black line is the 250-day moving average. Now right now, the market's off of its highs of 357. It's dropped down to 322. So as of this video, the S&P 500 has dropped 7% off of the highs. So here we have our 250-day moving average and 200-day moving average. So a long-term trader would still be in the market even though we're getting this sell-off. We talked about setting the stop, the trading stop, for example. So from the high here, the trading stop would mark about a 10% point down below before it would sell off. So in this case, our trading stop would still be holding. Now, another method to set a stop is that we can look at our support and resistance areas. So by determining the support and resistance areas, we can also set our stop. Now we do videos showing where the support and resistance areas are on a regular basis. One area of support would be this breakout area right around 315. So as this breaks below 315, a person could get out of the market. That's going to be pretty close to our 200-day moving average or 250. The other area would be down below 294. We could say if we're going to stay in the market as long as it doesn't break the major support areas. If it breaks below the major support areas, there could be more downside trouble. Now in our next video, we'll look at some short-term trading ideas. If you have any comments on short-term trading, leave your comments and we'll be glad to share those. Thanks for watching.